to the True North podcast. My name is Petra. I am your host as well as the founder of Nordic Artists of New York, a community of Nordic and Baltic artists and creative visionaries in New York City. In this podcast, I get to have candid human conversations with the members of our community, discovering untold stories behind their art and creative vision, their life-changing journeys across the Atlantic, and how they stay connected to their northern roots in the concrete jungle. Are you ready? Let's go! Welcome to the True North podcast by Nordic Artists of New York. Today I have a very special guest with me. Her name is Eeppi Ursin.
Sisu, Sisu, Sisu. When you feel there's nothing more left, you won't give up, give up, give up. You got this secret source of power. Sisu, Sisu, Sisu.
Eeppi is not only a fantastic Finnish singer-songwriter, but also a very dear friend of mine. And before I let her tell her story, I'm going to read to you a little bit about who we have as our guest today. Eeppi Ursin is a New York-based platinum-selling, award-winning singer-songwriter, jazz vocalist, composer, arranger, and pianist, originally from Finland. Her craft combines jazz, pop, soul, and a cappella, and she has released 7 solo albums to date. Eeppi has toured the world performing with artists such as trumpeter Leroy Jones and Spirit of New Orleans, vocal ensemble Club for Five, and UMO Jazz Orchestra. Eeppi also collaborates with theatres and modern opera ensembles as a composer and arranger. In 2014, Eeppi was chosen to perform at the President's Independence Day reception in Finland. In 2022, she was also chosen as the Performer of the Year by Finlandia Foundation National here in the US. Welcome, Eeppi, to the very first episode of the Nordic Artists of New York True North podcast.
Thank you so much, and what an honor to be the first guest.
Thank you so much for being my guinea pig.
Yeah.
We are very much still learning the ropes of this brand new endeavor that we have started, but I'm very glad that my first episode is with you.
Thank you.
We have done a lot of things together. We've done a lot of first endeavors together, actually,
Yes.
in the past few years in New York, and we'll get to all of that. But I would love to start by kind of going back to the beginning with you a little bit. I would love to hear about your sort of origin story. So just in your own words, if you would tell me a little bit about where you're from, your childhood, how music came into your life.
Okay. How much time do we got?
However much time you want.
Okay. Well, I was born in Helsinki, Finland, in the late 70s, 1970s. So that was like the last century. I was born I grew up in a very musical family. My mother and father, they were not professional musicians, but music was always a part of their life. My father played the flute and he also played piano and oboe and whatever. He was very into music and he loved music, and music was like his passion and sort of everything. And my mother was singing in choirs and vocal groups, and we went to concerts together and opera and whatever. And my sisters were also very musical. And I started playing piano at very early age because, of course, we had a lot of like instruments at our home, and piano was kind of, it was always there. So it was easy to learn it. And then I went to, in Finland, we have this system like called musiikkiluokat, music classes.
Which is a great system.
It's a great system. And you start that when you go to third grade, like when you're 8 or 9 years old. So I applied and I got into the music class in a very like prestigious school in Helsinki, which like has a very long history with music making. And then we all had to choose an orchestra instrument.
Oh.
And that's when my dad came in and my mom, they wanted me to pick oboe.
Oh, I've never heard of this.
Yeah.
This is fascinating.
Yeah. And so I played oboe. Of course, I was singing and playing piano as well, but I started like going to oboe classes. And I played for like 10 years, I think, all the
wow.
way until high school.
How have I never heard of this? This
We
is
never
so
talked
crazy.
about this.
This is why you have a podcast, people.
Yes,
You
yes.
learn things
You
about
learn
people
so
you
much.
think you know.
Absolutely. And yeah, that like oboe was really, really interesting because I kind of didn't. I have a really like weird relationship with oboe because I learned a lot, and I went through the classical music like
Route,
studies,
yeah.
and the route, the theory classes and all. But I kind of didn't like playing oboe because I
Mm.
knew it was for classical music, and I knew I wanted to do like pop and jazz and popular music.
Mm.
I always knew I'm not going to be a classical musician. And I think I skipped to the part that I always knew I'm going to be a musician. I never had any other plans.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but oboe was such a like kind of restricted for classical music. So it was I had a really weird relationship with it. And my dad was very like consistent. He wanted me to play, and every day, not every day, but like maybe a few times a week, we would sit down and go through my homework for the oboe, and he played the flute, and so we played together basically. And
So he was kind of like your mentor in that way.
yes, in a way
Huh.
he was, and now now that I'm grown up, so I've always been so grateful to my dad
Yeah.
that he was so consistent, because I learned so much
Yeah.
with oboe, because it kind of taught me the singing technique, the breathing support, everything, and also like I think I have a pretty good pitch. So that's oboe is the instrument that pitches the whole orchestra, and it's very like
Hmm.
pure in sound. So I learned a lot with that. But then, of course, at the music classes, I got to play and sing in bands, and so I got to do a lot of other things. But yeah, I went pretty much through that classical music route, and
Interesting.
yeah, and then when I went to high school, when I was like 16, 17, I really, really got into jazz.
Hmm.
That's when I kind of was dropped in the jazz.
World.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like did that for a long time.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And you went on to have such a versatile and interesting career in Finland. And that's something that I always sometimes almost forget about you, is because we know each other from New York, not from
Yeah,
Finland.
right.
And you've had this whole other long life and career in Finland doing all kinds of cool things. Are there some things that you're able to, I mean, I'm sure that there's so much, but are there some things and experiences? We mentioned a few in your bio earlier, UMO Jazz Orchestra and the a cappella ensemble Club for Five. Are there some of those experiences that you really clearly now in hindsight see as like these highlights?
Well, yeah. Well, all of those that you mentioned, and it's been like a journey. Like little by little, things started happening,
Mm,
and I came to New York like relatively old, so
mm,
that's why I've had a chance to do a long career in Finland. Of course, yeah, you mentioned Club for Five, the a cappella
mm.
group. I was with them for a few years, like eight years altogether, from 2011 to 2019.
I
So
remember when I first met you and someone mentioned, I
yeah,
don't even know if it was you or if someone else mentioned, because we were doing a project together for Finlandia Foundation New York chapter. And I think we were rehearsing together and someone mentioned something about Club for Five. And I was like, what? I was like legit fangirling
oh really?
because that is, I don't know that much about Finnish music, honestly. I've
Mm,
never been in the music industry in Finland. But
yeah.
that to me is an immediate sort of like, whoa, we're on a different
Hmm.
level here. I mean, they are incredible.
Yes, it's an incredible band, and I was really, really lucky to be part of it for as long as I was. And I mean, I could have stayed,
Mm,
but I must say that that was also like way the most hardest decision I ever made in my career
mm,
was when I left Club for
mm.
Five. And the reason I did it was because it's basically a full-time job.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, it was like not enough for me I wanted to do my solo stuff, my theater music stuff, and, be free. I'm kind of I want to be a free bird.
Yeah.
In that sense, I'm a total freelancer. I just kind of suffocate in a situation where I have a calendar. Someone else is telling me what I have to do.
An external force.
Yes, external force. Of course, sometimes you have to do that in life. But anyway, the years in Club 45 taught me so much about music business. And after I left, I created my own business, like own company in Finland, which I still have. So, and of course, we toured around the world. It was great, and the setups were pretty cool everywhere, and it's on a high level.
Yeah.
And they're still my really dear friends. So, and usually every Christmas, if I'm in Finland and the schedule works, I go to see their Christmas concert. And
Have you ever like been like a featured guest star, blast from the past?
Well, not really, but usually every time I'm in the audience, because often they might sing. I wrote a couple of Christmas songs for them. So like last Christmas and the other Christmas, like a couple of years before, when they do my song, they always like put the light on me in the audience. I'm like, hello. It's like we're gonna like give you a moment.
But that's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's a little bit like nice and awkward, and okay, I'm here just enjoying the concert
in my PJs.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
But yeah,
wonderful. I am very curious to know. We've actually never spoken about this, but when and why did the first sort of inkling of an idea or a seed of like, maybe I should move abroad? When did that sneak in, and where did it come from?
Well, I've always had that kind of when I go abroad, when I go to just for a holiday anywhere. Like I remember since a little girl, I've been like, always when I go somewhere, I think, could I live here? And there's always something fascinating about every place you go to. And then my mind starts to like go through, could I live here? And could I work here? And blah, blah, blah. So that's not like a strange thought for me at all. And I've always wanted to travel and see the world. And of course, as a songwriter, it's so inspiring to.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. You have to see the world.
There's so much to write about.
Yeah, it's like endless. Yeah. There's too much to write about. But I would say that New York was a dream for a very long time, and also because my original music is so much based on American jazz and American singer-songwriter traditions.
Makes sense.
So that was always, and I remember when I visited New York for the first time, which was in 2003. So more than 20 years ago, I remember that I was like, okay. Like the moment I got up from the subway, which was, I think it was Union Square, I was like, okay, this is what, like the bustling and just energy. The vibe, the energy was so incredible. I thought, oh my God, I want to be here one day.
Wow.
So that's kind of when it really, like realistically started more than 20 years ago. Yeah. But then, things happen. There was whatever. Life happens. And then it was actually like 2017 that it really started to like be realistic that I could do it.
And how did you start that process? What did you do first when you actually made the decision?
Well, I think I was like in a point in my life that I had just released an album in 2017. And I was still working with Club 45 like as a temp singer. Like one of their singers was on maternity leave. So I knew that was going to end like in a year or something. So that's when I kind of, and I was also like single, and I thought I don't have any children. Okay, this is the time. If I'm ever gonna do it,
this is the moment.
This is the moment, and I'm not getting any younger. So that's when I kind of decided to start really working on it, 2017. And then I came to New York. It was like New Year's 2018. I spent here a few weeks here. here in New York, and that's when I went to see a lawyer about basically the green card. That could I get the green card, and could it be possible for me to get the visa? And he looked at my resume and he was like, yeah,
you're a shoo-in.
Yeah, let's go for green card. And
Yeah.
that's when I started the process in 2018.
Wow.
And it was a lot of work because I applied for green card, like this artist-based green card straight away. And so I had to have a huge portfolio and recommendations and all the reviews and interviews that ever. So I basically dug up the internet and everything that I could find about myself, and I did that portfolio for months.
To those of us who are listening who are not maybe yet familiar with the immigration process for most artists to come to New York from abroad, obviously. So usually there are kind of two routes that you can go. You can go with the artist visa, which is, I think, 3 to 5 years generally, or you can go with the green card, which is a much heavier lift, like what Eeppi was saying, but then it also comes with a lot of added benefits. It's a much more sort of grounded way of, if one could say that, to be here.
Yeah, because it's a green card.
Exactly. Yeah. You can come and go and you're...
Yeah. It took like 2 years to when I arrived at JFK with the green card. So.
And how was that? How were your first days and weeks in New York? What do you remember about that time?
Well, it was 2020, February.
You came at a great time.
Oh, the perfect time.
Yeah. That was prime time New York.
February 1st, 2020.
Wow. That's brutal.
That is brutal. Yeah, I'd had in 2019 December, I'd had the final interview in Helsinki at the U.S. Embassy. So it took like a month and a half for me to pack my bags and come here. So it was. I was like on top of the world. I was so happy. Okay, now let's start networking and
going out to play.
and also it was it was like 5 weeks and COVID hit, so that was weird. But the beginning, the first weeks were great, really great, and I got to meet a lot of people and kind of get to the feel. But also what I remember is that New York felt very different than from when I was here anyway as a tourist, and like, wow. So then I was here and I knew the realities, like, okay, now I'm gonna have to make it. I'm gonna have to, like, okay, it's not a cheap city. It's very expensive. I am just staying in a room for now, but I gotta start making some arrangements to find maybe some better housing at some point. And it's not a game anymore.
Yeah.
So
it's real fast.
Yes. So that was kind of the glitter was gone like in a moment. So, and then COVID started. So,
oh no. That must not have been easy.
Well, it was weird, but what I did is I went back to Finland like for a few months. For actually, it was more than 6 months, something like 7 months probably. And I still had my summer place. So it was kind of, I actually liked it because I could just stay there at the cabin and I started doing live streams, like for real, like once a week.
Yeah.
So that kind of became...
From the cabin.
From the cabin.
That sounds like the perfect life.
Yeah. It was great. I loved that moment.
You thrived in the COVID.
Yes. And I was like, and my live stream got like a pretty regular crowd, audience pretty quickly, and people started sending requests, and it was great.
What was it called? I remember.
Love Boat,
right?
Yes.
Exactly. I remember because you and I hadn't met each other yet.
Right.
And I remember seeing this online. I was like, this random Finnish woman is doing this love boat thing all the time, and it's kind of everywhere, and there seems to be a lot of people and like it was all very confused. What is this? Who is this person? And actually that's a perfect segue to what I wanted to talk about next. By the way, fun fact to all of our non-Finnish speaking listeners, segue is one of my favorite words in the Finnish language.
Mhm.
So Eeppi and I are both native Finnish speakers. We usually speak Finnish to each other.
Oh,
Today.
yes.
On the account of everybody else in the world, we are speaking
Yeah,
English.
I started a little bit
Um,
earlier to get into the
Yeah,
mood.
exactly. We switched to English for a little, which is
Yeah.
it's a little weird speaking English to you, but we're managing.
Yeah.
We're doing quite fine. Anyway, so segue in Finnish we say aasinsilta,
Mhm.
which means a donkey's bridge.
Donkey's bridge.
This is one of my favorite things. It makes zero
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. And I don't know the origin of it. I actually need to research this.
I think it has some story. It must have some
for sure.
Or maybe it's
Some
from the,
donkey
who knows?
crossed the bridge.
It could be from the Bible even. I don't know.
It
But
could be. But anyway, so the donkey's bridge, what I was that I was
the segue.
referencing to, that I was coming to, is that what I find very fascinating about you as a sort of New York artist is that you are someone who right from the get-go had a strong connection to the Finnish community here. And the reason that this is unique is because I see this all the time. I've been here for 10 years and I've seen this all the time. New people coming to New York from Nordic countries, Baltic countries, for example, usually want nothing to do with their countrymen in the beginning. They want a fresh start. They want a table blanc. They want to just speak to Americans or internationals. If they hear their own language in a restaurant, they basically switch to English to avoid any communication. This happens all the time. But you did the exact opposite. Why was that? Where did that idea come from to you? How did it occur to you to tap into the Finnish community?
Well, I kind of had to do it because first of all, I didn't come here to study. I didn't want to do waitressing, being a babysitter. I had been a professional musician for 20 years.
Exactly.
That's what I do. I don't want to do anything else. So, and I was 40 already when I came here. So it's so different if you come here when you're 20 or 25. You can do whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do waitressing or something like that. So I was like, okay, I have to get work. My own field, from my own craft. I have to find something. And of course, I knew some Finnish musicians here. So I didn't have to start from basically from the scratch. But of course, I knew somebody. But anyway, that was like my approach to the beginning. I contacted the Finlandia Foundation National and Finlandia Foundation New York chapter, also the Finnish church.
Smart. That's so smart.
Finnish consulate.
Yeah.
All of these, and Finnish school I found at some point. But so I said, okay, hi, this is who I am. I'm a professional musician. I've done this and this and that. I'm coming to New York.
Yeah.
Give me work, basically.
Give me work. Tell me what to do. Tell me where to go.
If you ever need something, because I can do so much. I can write an opera, or I can just play dinner music at your event. So and everything in between.
Exactly.
So there's and I can play at the church or at the service, or there's so much I can do. So that's how I kind of introduced myself. And Scandinavia House, because I knew they have this jazz series, like jazz festival every summer. And so that's little by little I started getting little gigs, and the consulate invited me over for coffee, and when I came in, and little things. Yeah.
But that is, I hope you're able to give yourself, obviously we've all only had our own personal experience, so I think it's hard to compare sometimes, but I hope you're able to give yourself credit for how freaking smart that was. Because but seriously, there are so many artists who come here and first of all, don't even have this sort of networking mindset at all to begin with. And secondly, really lack this connection to any community, actually. It doesn't even have to be your own country community in any way, or your own culture. But I feel like a lot of artists who arrive in New York are kind of like lone wolves. for a long time before they then kind of accidentally stumble upon and find their people, and then things get rolling from there.
But they all have to start from somewhere. Like maybe they start going to open mics.
I think that's the
jam
usual
sessions.
Exactly.
And many people come here to study.
Yeah,
that like creates the community.
Exactly.
Itself.
There's like an inbuilt friendship circle almost.
That's like a totally different kind of starting point. If you're studying music somewhere here, like Manhattan School of Music or something,
sure,
you'll get the bandmates there, and you'll get gigs. So, but I had to find the network. There was no other chance for me, like, because of course I had a little bit of savings, but they're gone pretty fast.
In New York. New York's really good at that.
Yeah,
New York is really good at taking your savings, just draining it. But you did that masterfully. You really have become this sort of household name in the Finnish community music in many ways, and in the Nordic community music in many ways.
Yeah, that's kind of, I didn't kind of plan it. It's just kind of happened because, first I contacted these like Finnish network in New York, but then it suddenly like elaborated to all country, and Finlandia Foundation National, which is like this umbrella organization for all these chapters in different states. So and then I applied for Performer of the Year.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we mentioned about that, which was a huge, I'm sure, a huge stepping stone.
Yeah, I guess that was, and I heard about that. I think someone like introduced me to Finlandia Foundation National president at that time, Anne-Mari Paster. Yeah, and then she said, okay, you should apply for this.
Would you describe in just a few sentences to those who don't know, what is Finlandia Foundation's Performer of the Year?
Okay, so Finlandia Foundation National is this huge organization that supports Finnish culture and art and anything Finnish-based in the United States. And they have like chapters in maybe 26 states. Not in all states, but like half of the states in the US have like a local chapter of Finlandia Foundation, and they have these different kind of programs. They have every year they have grants for artists and like scholarships for students, and then every year they also have a Performer of the Year and Artist of the Year and Lecturer of the Year. They have these different programs. And Performer of the Year is basically then sent out to tour different chapters like around the country.
And all kinds of events as well, if there's festivals or anything that's can be connected to
and
it.
For me, I think I had 17 concerts on my year, 2022. And then after that, I had really good contacts with all these like local chapters. So basically I've been touring since then with these different chapters, and also some like Nordic and Scandinavian festivals around the country.
So it really was this wonderful catalyst in that way to becoming a national performer rather than just staying in the New York bubble.
And like that's where my work is today, like within the Finnish communities. Pretty much that's my main employer today. And but I didn't plan that. That kind of happened.
Yeah,
just happened.
Serendipity.
Okay. Yeah, serendipity. So suddenly I'm this like Finnish artist in the United States.
The life of a Nordic immigrant in New York is exciting and adventurous and exotic a lot of the time. But it's also really, really lonely sometimes. There are days when all I want to do is just go be with people who speak my language, symbolically and literally, who understand my quirky customs and traditions and my food, and just make me feel at home. One of my homes away from home is Finlandia Foundation. They are the leading organization nurturing and supporting Finnish culture and art projects across the United States, and they've been with us from the very first steps of the Nordic Artists of New York project and helped us make so many cool things happen, including the True North 2025 showcase and this very podcast. If you'd like to learn more about Finlandia Foundation, check out their website finlandiafoundation.org to read more about their various programs, their grants, and maybe even sign up as a member to help them help support projects just like this one. This episode of the True North podcast is brought to you by the Finlandia Foundation National. Now let's get back to it. And about that, actually, on a sort of deeper level, do you feel like since leaving Finland, you have become more Finnish?
Oh, yes, absolutely. This is something we've talked about before. But yes, like after this, well, of course, it started during the COVID, the live stream thing that I did, because I started getting like Finnish American followers.
Mm-hmm.
And I very soon realized that I'm bringing this nostalgia to people. And, you got to do your business. Then I was just, okay, maybe this is where I can
This
get
is something that people want.
Yeah, this is something that people want, something I can do. Maybe this could bring me income.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very realistic.
Yeah.
I have
Pragmatic.
to, yeah, very. So that's why I kind of started doing, since then I've done this like Finnish albums, like with this Finnish nostalgia angle, and it's kind of, okay, this is my business here. This is my niche right now.
On a spiritual level, do you feel, or spiritual or sort of, I don't know, emotional level, what does being Finnish mean to you? How do you feel like the cultural heritage is kind of with you? Obviously, now your projects are very tied to it, a lot of them. But even apart from that, do you feel that you sort of carry Finnishness with you?
Yes, I definitely do. And it's so hard to say what it is. But I don't know if I'm allowed to say this here, but I really do not feel like I'm an American, whatever that means.
You're allowed to say, neither do I.
But I am so Finnish, and I love Finland so much, and I miss Finland, and I go there a lot. But I really, really am very connected to Finnish nature, the lakes and the forests. It's like, that's kind of my dream, maybe to return to the cabin one day. Maybe this is too romantic of an idea, but like,
well, it's my dream, so
yeah. So it's something. It's like, of course, when you come to a place like New York and United States, you realize how small Finland is. It's such a small country. Like, I had the pleasure of being with you last night at this concert, like educational concert at the Met, and there was they were like,
they were playing Sibelius.
Yes,
they were breaking it down.
Yeah, breaking a couple of
that's really
Sibelius pieces down and talking about Finland and Finnish kind of mindset.
Yeah,
and we were there like, it's like you sit in a room full of basically probably Americans or New Yorkers, and they're talking about this tiny land and culture.
Yeah.
It feels so personal.
It's almost like, how do you know that?
Yeah,
That's my personal
I'm
history.
like getting all red, like talking about me. And how do you know so much about this little country? We're kind of hidden. We've always been somewhere.
We didn't think anyone knew we were there.
No one even knows we exist, and suddenly we're like
at the Met.
Yes, it's like, no, we don't. It's so weird.
To our listeners, we are of course referencing to the fact that this is the first year that we have a Finnish artist at the Met. So Helena Schäflack's works are on exhibit there, which has been fantastic, and which has again been this kind of catalyst for more Finnishness all around New York, and it feels very strange to us.
It's so strange. I don't know if I'm just imagining, but somehow Finland is more.
It's up and coming. It's trending.
It's trending because NATO. Of course, Finland joined NATO a few years ago, so that's been like, okay, suddenly people know Finland.
Yeah, there was
And
just a sauna festival
there
with a
was
lot of Finnish
yes,
organizers.
yes, and there's like Ismo Leikola, this stand-up
Yeah, he's like a
comedian.
household. He's
Yeah.
I think he's going to be on Netflix soon.
Oh yeah.
Ismo, if you're listening, we are rooting for you.
Yes.
Yes.
Go Ismo.
Go
And
Ismo.
Helen Schärfbeck at the Met, and it's just like, and Sanna Marin. People know like
Yeah.
Finnish. Suddenly Finland is over, and we've always been kind of we can just hide and be what we are in the
Don't
middle of
mind
the forest.
us.
Yeah, don't mind us. We're in the middle of the forest.
Yeah.
No one knows our language. We have this secret language.
Exactly.
And so
Not so secret anymore.
Not so
That's another thing. I feel like on New
Yeah.
York streets, you have to
Yeah.
kind of watch out. now.
Yes, you have. Sometimes you hear it, and I'm always like,
It's like a panic. We have to all of a sudden filter what we're saying.
yes, we've always been able to use our secret language.
Yes.
And so, at last night at the Met, like, there's this grand Kapellmeister talking about Finland. So I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
So, but yes, to your question earlier, I do feel so much more Finnish now that I've been out of there.
Yeah, I totally get that. I certainly feel like leaving Finland has made me a patriot
Yes.
in a way
that's
that I
it.
never was
A
before.
patriot.
And on
me
a
too.
very sort of deep core emotional level. Like there have been occasions when a Finnish friend of mine and I have, perhaps after a few too many glasses of wine, been belting Finlandia at a New York bar for no reason.
Oh, yeah.
Like unprompted. No one asked for this.
Yeah.
What's that?
That's
it's a very strange thing.
Finlandia also, it's been used as a hymn.
Mhm.
It's in some hymnal books. I don't remember the name, but it has English lyrics. It's something like One Nation, something very, very nice.
We have to look that up.
Yeah, but people don't know. It's Sibelius, and they just know the melody. And
well, now the people of the Met know.
Yes.
So that's a great step forward.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to shift gears a little bit, and this is my favorite section of every podcast. I intend to have a sort of a somewhat similar structure to with all of my guests. I don't know if you know this about me. Maybe you do. But I am a creativity nerd. Like the same way that people nerd out on like psychology or trains, or when they want to like research everything and really want to deeply understand it, and it's like this endless piece of fascination. I am like that with creativity. Like after all these years, I still don't know what it is, how it works, where it comes from, why it is so cool. And so I would love to hear about your creative process. I know you do a lot of different things musically, obviously, like we spoke about. You arrange, you compose, you do opera and theater, all these things. But when you are songwriting your own original music or composing, what happens first? Where does it come from?
Like when I write my own song,
Mm.
Well, it has changed over the years. Like when I was younger, it was totally, I started with music, with harmonies. I would sit by the piano, where I've have kind of grown up with the piano, sitting by the piano.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where my hands rest. And
I
I fell in love with chords already when I was pretty young. And I realized how chords are kind of structured in my nerdy head, my theory head. So and since I started doing jazz so like strongly, so that's kind of I love rich harmonies, and I've kind of had to even maybe cut back a little bit from being too rich with the harmonies, kind of bring it more to pop. But anyway, I would start usually with, at least when I was younger, I totally started with chord changes. And also that's what I've been doing a lot, because I've been arranging, like, say, Finnish old songs. So I have a melody, and then I can just harmonize it totally differently. So it's the harmony that kind of drives me, and I think also harmony is a storyteller. Chord changes tell a story.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But now that I'm older and wiser, hopefully, I think I'm more into the stories, or that has kind of come at least to the same balance with the harmonies. So I might have like actually an idea of a song
like a lyrical
yes
idea.
lyrical idea, like Speechless or some other song that I'm now writing a new album. So really I'm more like driven with the stories and what I want to say, what I want to tell about, what themes I want to kind of capture in a song. Okay, I want to write a song about immigrants. I want to write a song about my Finnishness. So I've kind of, when I'm older, I've been kind of changing the angle a little bit.
And when you get that kind of sort of like the message or the core story idea, do you then is it always sort of like lyrics first, music then, or music first, lyrics then? Like, is there an order, or can it be kind of depending on?
Well, it depends on many things, but usually I would say they kind of come together. Like I might have an idea of a phrase, like lyrical phrase, and then I just like have my fingers at the piano, and then it comes together like a melody for the lyric, and then it starts evolving from there. So I would say it's a mixture.
Yeah.
I rarely would sit down and just write the lyrics, like all of them. That would be weird for me.
So to you, the music and the lyrics are like kind of tied.
They are tied. And then when kind of the musical structure is somewhat built, of course, then I might go to a cafe and write the lyrics when I know kind of what the music is, like at least like the main parts of it.
Yeah. Those, especially thinking about that those listeners who are not in any way in music, who don't know what happens then. Okay, so you've written this song, you have the structure, you have the lyrics, you have the melody. What are the next steps? Exactly. And would you then, in your sort of regular process, and again, we know that this happens in so many different ways, but so the average way of this happening for you, would you then record a demo at home first and then kind of go to the studio, or?
Yeah, I do a demo at home. And also, I actually do record like final recordings at home today as well. So I have equipment for that. Well, there are so many different projects, but which I have been doing a lot is just vocals and piano, so I can do that by myself. And like now I'm writing a new album, which is coming out in May 26th. So basically I'm doing that all by myself.
And I was going to, I'm glad you mentioned it at this point because I was going to leave it for the end, but we can talk about it now and in the end.
Yes,
that's perfectly fine. It's worth talking about twice.
Yeah.
Because it really ties into kind of everything that we've been talking about the Finnishness, Finnish community, cultural heritage, all of that. Is that some of my favorite pieces of your work are called My Finnish Soul. And there is one that is out a couple of years ago.
3 years ago.
3 years ago. Yeah. And then a new one is coming out soon, which I just exclusively heard yesterday.
Yes.
Very exciting. So what is My Finnish Soul? Where did that idea come from? And what is different about this album than sort of the regular original songwriting that you've done?
Yeah. Well, it was, as we spoke before, I kind of found my business here in the United States within the Finnish communities and within the Finnish nostalgia, kind of bringing Finnish nostalgia in a modern way. That's like bringing it to a different level. That's kind of been my niche. So it was 2023 that I released My Finnish Soul album, which was almost all of the songs are like well-known Finnish classics.
And like beloved classics
very
too.
Beloved,
very heartstring tugging stuff.
Yes. Yes, like old, like pop songs from 80s and 90s, but also then like really old folk songs and stuff like that. And one original. So after that, I have released a Finnish American Christmas album.
Mm-hmm.
That's also very much the same kind of field of this being an Finnish expat in the United States.
Mm.
And then after that was My Finnish School, which was a project that I did with Finnish schools in the United States and
Which
Canada.
is very interesting.
Yeah,
Something different.
Yeah, I like wrote songs with the kids.
Yeah.
And that was also an idea that I like last year, a couple of years ago, I was like, okay, I need to think of something.
Mm.
I need to get some work.
Yeah.
So I got this idea that I could, because I had written a song in the New York Finnish School. I had written a song with the kids. I thought, hey, this could be taken to all the Finnish schools in the world. Well, let's start with with the United States. So yeah, that album was released earlier this year, just as a digital album. But yeah, now I'm working on My Finnish Soul Volume 2.
Wonderful.
And that is also, I think, because that's what people want.
Mm.
I'm a servant.
You're servant to music.
Yes, I'm a servant, musical servant. So I have kind of realized that there is well, you would say in Finnish, you would say sille on tilausta. How would you say?
Demand. There's a demand for it. Yeah.
There's a demand for it.
Yeah.
So I gotta do what people want.
But I think that from especially what we were talking about yesterday, you've kind of gone down a little bit of a rabbit hole with the immigration, just Nordic immigration to the States, essentially, I guess one could say. And you've actually gone through the Ellis Island records of families coming to New York and these recognizable last names, like all of that. So how has, from that perspective, how is My Finnish Soul Volume 2 different to the first one? Because it clearly has these kind of deep-rooted ideas.
Yeah, it's basically the same idea that it has these very beloved Finnish classics as my new versions. But then I have a little bit more of original songs there, at least 3. So and I've been really, really fascinated by these immigration stories, of course, because of myself being an immigrant. And there is like many families have people who have come to the US like 100 years ago. And I know we've always been talking about that. There's someone in my family has also, but I didn't really like know so well who was it and when. And now I just realized, and I started asking my mother, when did this person come here and who was it? And now I know it was my grandmother's aunt who came here, Anna. Her name is Anna, was Anna. And she came here 1908. And yes, I found her name on the Ellis Island records. And I've been just fascinated with this. Like, I've been picturing these like millions of people who came here with those ships.
Yeah.
Like RMS Carpathia and Mauritania, and Titanic never made it, but Titanic was also full of people who were ready to come to America for better life. That is what they were looking for. And of course, in those days, Finland wasn't independent yet, and it was really poor there. And like this relative of mine who came here, her brothers had come here already like a few years before, and probably they wrote her letters that come here.
Great here.
Yeah, it's good here. You can get a job as a maid.
Yeah.
That's what. So she came to work in some fine family in New York City as a maid. And then he met a Swedish man, and they got married, and they had kids. And I have, like, sometimes in the 1990s, some of these relatives I have met in Finland. They visited, but now it's kind of dried out.
Yeah.
We haven't been in contact anymore, but I think I have to find my relatives
So,
here.
you know, that's kind of fascinating because I'm a creativity nerd and I'm also a psychology nerd. And part of the psychology nerdness that I have is I am very fascinated by this sort of genetic heritage, this unwritten, unseen genetic heritage, the stories and experiences that we carry within us that we are often completely unconscious about.
Yeah, and we don't know what is bugging us. And
we
then...
don't, exactly. We don't know what our problem is. And I find it very interesting that you say that you always kind of had this inkling that you were going to essentially be an immigrant, or an emigrant from Finland at that point.
Yes.
And like it's literally in your blood.
Yeah, it is. It is. And now I know who it is. And I know that my mother has some pictures when she later visited Finland, like when she was an old woman already. So I have to find those pictures and look at, like, I have seen them, of course, but I haven't really paid attention. So I want to see them again. And like, really, I just really feel, and about all those people, I think they're in my dreams and everything. Like, there's millions of people who came with the ships, and they had traveled for weeks from Liverpool, and the sea journey must have not been very easy.
No, especially if you weren't an aristocrat.
Yes, yeah, in steerage, like basically a third class, like traveler, and then they came here and they just scattered all over, and it was free to come here. Like people, United States welcomed everybody to work here as loggers and farmers and maids and whatever. So, and of course everything is changed with that. Like Ellis Island was closed in the 50s, and the immigration rules got so much tighter, of course. But it's just like fascinating that this country kind of people rolled in from Asia and Europe and Scandinavia. Like so many Scandinavians came here.
And we often don't really talk about that. There's a lot of sort of, everybody knows that there's Italians. Everybody knows that there's Irish.
Dutch,
exactly. But less people, I think, know that there are huge amounts of Nordic immigrants and Finnish immigrants who have arrived.
Yeah, and I've been touring the country. I've been a couple of times and going next summer as well in Washington State. This like totally a place in the middle of nowhere called Naisel. They have a Finnish American folk festival there.
Yeah,
and I'm going next summer again. And the last time I was there, I was just stunned. Like suddenly you're there in the middle of like a Finnish folk festival.
Yeah.
And people are dancing Finnish folk dances and singing Christmas songs. And like everybody's last name is Penttilä or Virkkala. And they're these like third generation Finns, and they're so proud of it. And they have all these like street names and names of places in Finnish language. And then I learned that a lot of people went to that place like 100 years ago, or more than 100 years ago, from Western Finland, like from Kaustinen. The Kaustinen Folk Music Festival is kind of a sister festival. So a lot of people went there from Western Finland, and it's just been so eye-opening to meet these people and
I don't think anyone in Finland knows that these communities exist.
No, they don't. And that's why if I ever have any interviews in Finland, I always try to mention these things, because I think it's fascinating.
There are more of you out there in the world.
Yeah, and it's just like these little places in America. Like suddenly there's a huge Finnish community and huge like Finnish,
Wow, that's great. We're going to take a little break here and sip some tea.
Sip some tea. Okay.
Welcome back to the True North podcast. My name is Petra. I am here with my dear friend, Finnish musician Eeppi Ursin. We have talked about a lot.
Yes.
One thing that I really want to touch upon, which is maybe a little unusual to talk about with artists, is that, and I've told you this before, I find you to be an exceptionally organized artist. I always feel that any project that we have worked together on, and even in your own things that I have nothing to do with, you seem to always do everything with this sense of like calm and collectedness and organization. First of all, do you feel like you have your shit together? Or is that just like a really good sort of outward facing fake it till you make it situation?
Well, I know what you mean. I am kind of a nerd in a way. Like I am organized, but maybe it's also that I've learned to be like that. I don't know if I was that organized like 25 years ago when I started my career, but I've kind of learned that during the years. And also because like being an independent artist, basically you do your art, you do your music, but then you also do so much other things. You write descriptions, like concert descriptions, biographic
You
descriptions.
write a lot of
You
things,
write a lot.
actually. Yeah,
Like
surprisingly much.
Good writing skills are like a must if you're an independent artist. And also, like, I have, like, some people who sometimes might do some kind of be my agents. I have a couple of agencies that get some gigs for me in Finland, and I've had usually of course I hire people doing, like, promotion and stuff like that. When there's a new album coming out, usually I have someone doing the promotion, like contacting the media and stuff.
And I think that's part of it. I think you're a good delegator as well. You know what are the aspects that you can kind of delegate to someone.
Yes, of course there's a lot of delegation, and I don't do my own like graphics for my albums. I'm not taking my photos. I'm not doing everything.
Yeah, you're just doing the music.
Yeah, I do the music, but there's so much, like, writing and like I was saying about these agents that I kind of have, but also I do a lot of, like, I sell my own gigs basically.
Yeah.
I contact the venues, I contact the festivals, and then when we, like, okay, I have a gig somewhere, let's say this summer I'm going to NACL in Washington and Oregon, Astoria. So, okay, we have the contract, we have the price settled and everything. Then I have to send the marketing materials in, and then the technical requirement stuff starts. So there's so many things when you're an independent.
So many hats.
Yeah. So I have to be organized. If I'm not, then I don't have money.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. And there's no one else to do that for you. That's the whole bottom.
Yeah, I can't really afford to hire someone. I wish I could. But you know what? I have often thought of this. I'm such a perfectionist that if I had hired someone to do everything for me, I probably couldn't keep my hands off it anyway.
You would still be doing it.
I would still be doing it.
Correcting it at 2 a.m. Yes, in secret.
I don't know. It's just such a far out thought that I don't know if it would ever work.
What are some practical tools that you use? How do you sort of organize your life? Because I think something that is often not really spoken that much about in this sort of freelancer field and artist field is that to a regular, so-called regular person, a non-artist person, a non-freelancer, basically the most important thing in their calendar that they have to worry about is 9 to 5, 5 days a week, I'm going to be at this place. That's it. But when you're a freelancer, not only can your job locations vary every single day, you can have 20 different physical locations that you have to be in. But also the times can be anything from an hour to 3 days to a 2-week trip somewhere. Like, it's so versatile. How do you keep track of things? How do you know where you need to be 2 weeks from now on a Tuesday?
Yeah.
Is it a Google Calendar? Like, really break it down for me. What are the tools that you use?
Google Calendar. That's my Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was talking about it earlier. I sit by the piano. I've grown up sitting by the piano, but also I sit by the computer all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just, you have to be online all the time. You read emails.
Yeah.
And it's very important for me that I answer emails quickly. I never leave them like hanging. I always do it as soon as possible. And I want to be a sharp artist. I don't want to be this sloppy artist who maybe answers in 2 weeks and maybe sends her stuff. I want to be someone who the venues can rely on, and be this well organized artist.
But it really comes through.
Yeah, it comes
really,
through. It's really important for me to be that kind of person that you can rely. And Google Calendar. And also when kind of like this spring, I'm not touring. I'm not really touring before summer, as I'm working on this new album now. So I'm basically pretty much set, like, at home. And now I have this, I love it because I have this routine. Like I work in the morning for maybe 2-3 hours, which would be, of course, emails and stuff, but also the artistic work, doing the music. And then I have a long lunch break, like 2-3 hours. And then I have like a night shift again. I work a couple of hours in the evening. So I would say I work 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like on a basic day.
On an average day.
Average day that I don't have to go anywhere. If I don't have a performance anywhere or anything.
Yeah.
So that would be enough. But of course I work every day. It's not like, we don't have any weekends or
no, or holidays.
Or holidays. It's
paid holiday. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't really matter what day it is.
Yeah. What about when it comes to things like, we've spoken a lot about grants, for example, those kinds of sort of submission deadline things that are not something physical where you have to actually go and perform or record, but yet you have to be on top of what needs to happen. Or even if we're talking about release calendars, release strategies for your music, you need to be on top of when is it coming out, and therefore kind of play it back. This needs to happen 3 weeks before. This needs to happen 2 months before, etc.
Yeah.
Is all of that in your calendar, or is there some other system that you use?
No, it's in my calendar, or just like a piece of paper in the computer, like text edit,
like a to-do list, or
like, let's say an album, I have like the timeline there. Okay, photos need to be ready by then. Okay, you put it in the digital, how do you say, like this digital aggregator. You have to have it there 3 weeks prior to release. And I have these like deadline dates.
Deadline,
and that's also
lists.
and also Google Calendar, of course. I have like deadline dates there. That's something I learned a lot when I was singing in Club 4-5, that kind of professional a cappella group, because that was like in a way a business run company.
Yeah.
Kind of, you have to have these deadlines in the calendar, and you have to keep them. Otherwise, the business doesn't roll.
Exactly.
And, you could, in this profession, you could just, every day you could just like, oh, I can't do this, and this is shit, and oh, my voice sounds awful. But you just got to get past that. You just got to do things, and, because otherwise it stops.
And so much of that, I think, is tied to a routine.
Yes,
routine.
I love
the
routines.
Routine is kind of like what saves you.
Yes.
On the day when you don't feel
Absolutely.
it. I think I don't know how you feel about this, but I hate the word inspiration. I think it's a toxic idea.
Yes.
Because it creates this situation where you either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
And that's not ever gonna get you anywhere.
No, and that's not how professional works. You can't, like Toivo Kärki, this great past Finnish songwriter, said that inspiration, if you start waiting for inspiration, it's never going to come. Like,
you can wait forever.
Yeah, you can wait forever. So that's a nice thought. But of course we are always inspired by things. Like, that's what we write songs about. Like, now I'm very, very inspired by this immigration history. But that is not like something that drives me to do things. Like, I can't like wait for inspiration. Well, maybe, I don't know, if maybe someday an artist says, okay, I have no more inspiration to write music, then maybe your career is over, I guess. But
I would claim that even then, if you have a routine down and you have all these sort of what I call like the infrastructure of artistry, you have your website going, you have your merch store, you have your royalties in order, you have your copyright shit. Like you checked all the boxes on that. Kind of like things are everything, all the lights are green,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
then even if you didn't create anything new for a while, you would still be in action in
Yes,
some
in
way.
action. Mm-hmm.
And especially in your case where you also then have the option of commission work and working for someone else's inspiration.
Yes.
So
And that's always like a commission work is a really good example. Like, okay, now I have to write this choral piece about to this text. And it's, it's just work.
yeah.
It's not something. Ooh.
Yeah.
Also, like that's one thing I don't like about like musicianship. Like people are always like, oh, you're a musician. That's so
Woo-woo.
yeah. Like that's something mystery. It's not.
You're like, you should see my Excel sheets.
Oh yeah. And composing, it's it's a job. So it's, of course it can be interesting and fascinating, but when it comes down to it's just life and another job that someone has.
Yeah.
Like, and also you mentioned grants, so that's one big thing. Like everyday life, I'm always on the watch for new
Same.
grants. So basically,
Which is another thing that I don't think that I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll find out as we go on with this podcast and talk to more people from different disciplines.
Yeah.
But I'm very curious to find out if that is something that everyone kind of does. Is that like a normal thing for everyone to always like my whole year is mapped out according to when grad deadlines are and not just grants but different submissions for different kinds of things. But like,
sure.
I wonder if that's something that everyone has, or are we like weirdos? I don't
think
know.
many artists are like that.
Yeah.
Because we have to.
Yeah.
Kind of. But I know some like professional musicians who are not in the grant cycle, kind of.
They don't even.
Yeah, maybe
partake.
they are. Yeah, maybe they're just so employed with good gigs, like good paying TV stuff or something, so they don't really need.
Yeah. Or they don't
the
want to
grant.
bother with the writing.
Yeah. Also, that's because it has
It's a
so
lot of
much
work.
to do with you have to be a good writer.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's true.
So some people are not.
That's true. So, okay. So kind of in the same realm, I want to, something that I intend to talk about with, again, all of my guests who all come from different artistic disciplines is money. Because I find it to be a very interesting thing that there really isn't a lot of public-facing conversation about how artistry actually works. I feel like there is this common understanding of it that kind of is connected to what you were just saying about this ethereal woo-woo-ness of artistry, is that there is this strange feeling that people have of like artists just kind of flail about and just go with their inspiration and just do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and money that comes from, let's say, for example, a real life example of this would be a musician doing a show and selling merch. I feel like many people in that show, the audience members, will feel like the merch is something like extra. It's like extra income. And I always find those kinds of things very interesting because what I'm always trying to be like, no, you don't understand. This is the income. There's no foundational basis income that an artist, I mean, here's to hoping maybe one day we will have something like that. Some European countries have been implementing that and it sounds really great. But as of now, we don't have sort of like a base salary. And then on top of that, you might sell some music or you might sell some merch or you might get a performance fee or you might do this or you might do that. And I wonder if you could, and you can talk about a personal place or you can talk about in general, but if you had to make sort of like a pie chart of like, where does an independent musician's money come from? Where does the majority, what are the different pieces of the pizza pie?
Pizza pie, yeah. Well, at least in my case, as I think in many artists' case, it's like little streams all around.
Yeah.
The money comes like, okay, for me.
Hey, welcome, välkomna, tervetuloa. At Finlandia Foundation, we celebrate Finnish American heritage and work to build bridges between Finland and the United States, connecting past, present, and future through culture. We're proud to partner with Nordic Artists of New York, bringing Nordic American voices to a global stage through the True North podcast. You can support projects like this by joining our community and contributing at finlandiafoundation.org. And now, back to the show. Ja nyt takaisin ohjelmaan.
It would be, live performances and selling the merch, which in my case is CDs. I don't have any, like, I know you have a great merch table, but I don't have.
I might have too much.
No, I love it. I should kind of maybe look into that, like have a T-shirt or something.
But design it for you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Side hustle. Okay.
Side hustle. But yeah, anyway, but the CD sales is very important for me. And I know, like, it's a dying breed, kind of, like CDs have been like going up and down. But I have come to notice that it's still worth it to print CDs, actual CDs, physical CDs. At least when you go out of the big cities, like out of New York, more into the countryside. People, like at these Nordic or Scandic or Finnish festivals, they still like to buy.
Which is great.
Which is wonderful, yes. And so, yeah, the live performances with CD sales. Then for me, I know many artists do teaching.
Yes.
But I don't do that at the moment. Just would very randomly have, if someone would ask me, can we have a session, of course. But that's what I did a lot before when I lived in Finland. But I don't teach anymore. But I write, I do some like sheet music writing for some artists because I'm a nerd. I like to write sheet music. So that's...
And you have the skills.
I have the skills, yeah. So why not? So that's one source of income. Then for me is like copyright, like royalties and copyrights.
Passive income.
Yeah.
I mean, passive in that there's still a whole infrastructure you have to build in order to get that
Sure.
part.
Yeah, it's not like they're just like that, but like built within like years of work.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then some random studio work that I do. I do also some like voiceover stuff sometimes. So that's very nice work.
Yeah.
It doesn't pay so well, but it's a little piece of the pie.
Yeah.
And what else? Grants then, of course, which is like grants are not, it's really hard to get grants.
You can't really rely on
them. You can't, but it's kind of a little bit of a Russian roulette, this life. So basically you have to have some grants at some point. And then if you don't, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of how it...
Yeah. Well, that's a great... I think that's really helpful.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that has fascinated me in this whole journey of Nordic Artists of New York is that when I have been talking to people from different artistic disciplines, the structure of business, so to speak, is completely different in different fields. Yeah. Which I never thought about that before. You kind of live through this experience of music and you're like, oh, everything kind of works this way.
Yeah.
But that's that's why I want to kind of have this question for everybody is that I think that by sharing openly and honestly, first of all, which you've done, and thank you for that, I think that we're able to not only inform each other and maybe between disciplines in this vastly digitalizing world, we're able to kind of borrow from each other maybe there's something that a visual artist has come up with that we could actually very well adapt to music or vice versa, and we just never occurred to us. And another reason that I want to talk about money in general and sort of artistic living and income is because my hope is that if there are any listeners amongst our followers who are in positions of affecting change or are in positions of holding the purse strings, so to speak, at foundations or governmental entities or anything like that, I would love to offer this realistic picture of how it actually looks like. Because as I said, I do feel that the general image of it is quite antiquated.
Yeah. Yeah, I was, like you mentioned, visual artists. I know, like musicians, it's hard for us musicians, but I always think like visual artists.
Man, that
is
a whole other world.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. which hopefully we will learn about in the next episodes.
I'm sure you will. And hey, one thing I forgot to mention about one of the pies in my income pizza is, of course, the commissioned work, like writing music for others. So that's also very important.
Yeah.
Or writing music for theater pieces and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
sure.
Okay, Eeppi, we're almost at the end of our conversation, but one thing that I really wanted to ask you is, you've had this long, amazing career. You've done so many different things in the field of music. What is your dream right now? What is something that you kind of look forward to or work towards, or what's the dream?
You know, if I'm completely honest, which I can be, I am kind of dreaming about shifting it down a bit. Because I think I've been working like a crazy person since I came to New York. Because you just have to, in order to make it
hustle.
here. Yeah, it's the hustle. But I kind of dream of being able to kind of lower my workload a little bit so that I wouldn't be so tight, like economically so tight all the time, you know.
What would you do instead? What would you use the time for?
Maybe being by the water, being in the forest, like
nature.
And like be more in the nature in my summer place. That's kind of a dream. I might not be able to do it in the next years, but it's somewhere there in the horizon. And also, you know, the thought of like shifting down and living in New York doesn't really make it's
that's a tough combo.
It's a tough combo.
Yeah. But that sounds wonderful.
And also, of course, like now I've been doing these Finnish nostalgia albums. Of course, I kind of feel like I have to, maybe the next album that I do after this, my Finnish Soul Volume 2, would be like just original music. Of course, that's what I am, a songwriter.
Yeah.
Of course, I enjoy arranging. It's kind of songwriting in a way.
There's lots of creativity in that as well. But it's a different thing.
It's a different thing anyway. And it's kind of a bigger contribution in a way to write your own song. But I'm happy that in the new album there's going to be my original songs.
Yeah, I'm so excited for that, especially knowing your sort of inspirations for that, this whole immigration history thing, everything. I think it's so current. It's so keeping with the times. It's so it's very fascinating also, just in terms of, you and I have both been on this Nordic Artists of New York journey for the past couple years, and kind of been, I think, at least for me, I feel like there is this larger sense of Nordicness that that I have kind of acquired from it, rather than just it being about sort of Finnish cultural heritage.
Absolutely.
And so very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, and also the fact that, like, of course everybody knows it, but this country is built what it is today. It is built by immigrants.
Here. 100%. Okay, but we are down to the last section of our podcast, which I call Rapid Fire.
Rapid Fire,
I'm thinking maybe I will have to figure out a more sort of Nordic name for it. Maybe it'll be, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll think of something.
Yeah.
What's like fast and Nordic? What's a fast Nordic thing? Lightning.
Nordic lights.
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolt. Northern lights. No, what? Tähdenlento.
Oh yeah, that's
something like.
What's a tähdenlento? Shooting star.
Shooting star. Northern light.
This could be another northern shooting star. We'll figure it out. There's something there. Okay.
If you have any suggestions, like
if the audience has any suggestions for what this section should be called, we want it to be fast and Nordic. That's the only criteria. Okay. So 10 questions, and just answer with the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
And like, we're looking for like short answers, not necessarily one word, but like, you know, like short, snappy answers. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Take a deep breath.
Let's do it.
You can do it. Okay. The first question is, if you couldn't be an artist of any kind, what would you do for a living?
Writer, but that's an artist.
That's an artist. You have to choose something else. Nothing creative at all.
But everything is creative.
Sure, but just stick with me.
An accountant.
Oh, shit.
Where did
Okay.
that come from?
That's the power of this game. Okay, next. What is something you miss from home?
Lake.
That's easy. Me too. What is your favorite secret gem place in New York City? Could be a business, or it could be a natural place. It could be anything.
Central Park.
Is there a specific spot?
Yeah, like deep in the jungles of
Yes.
Central Park.
Yes. The Northern Woods.
Yeah,
That's
where like nobody goes.
Yeah.
There's
It's amazing.
a
It's
real
the best.
jungle. Yeah.
I know. Okay, number 4. If you could have your art showcased, so in your case, this would be your music performed, at any famous building in the world, which one would it be?
Carnegie Hall.
Oh, very cool. What is the worst advice you've ever received?
Oh my God. That's a tough
So
one.
much.
Can we
I
cut,
feel like there's
can
so
we
much
cut the
bad
silence? If I think about it a
We
little
love
bit.
the silence. You're allowed to think.
Seeing silence.
Yes, exactly. That's the theme of Finnishness in New York right now.
You know what? I think sometimes it's me who gives the worst advices to because I'm very like critical, and I'm often like ashamed of myself. So I'm the worst critic.
Oh my goodness.
I would say that.
Is
like-
there something specific that you're willing to share that is like something that your inner voice says?
It's, yeah, my inner voice very often says, you're a total failure. So that's
Rude.
not bad. No, that's not good. That's rude.
That's rude.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I feel like we need another podcast just to talk about that. Okay. What's the best advice you've ever received?
I think it was when my colleague who lived in New York for a long time is now out of here, but he said, yes, go to New York, you'll learn a lot. He said,
That
you'll
is so true.
And it was very kind of down to earth and realistic. It was not like, yeah, New York
It'll
is
be
great.
awesome. Yeah.
You'll learn a lot.
You will. I'll tell you that right
Yeah.
now. Okay. What work, achievement, or milestone are you most proud of?
Well, I would say like making it in New York.
Yeah.
That's big.
That's big.
Mhm.
That's big. Absolutely. What is the best part of Nordic Artists of New York?
Petra.
Oh,
Of course.
that's
It's
wonderful. Say something else as well, so I don't feel awkward. This is my inner voice.
Well, of course, it's the community, just and the different crafts, different fields of art.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. The
Yeah.
cross-pollination.
Yeah.
What would you say to an artist thinking about moving to New York? And you're not allowed to use the same one as your colleague told you.
Well, be prepare. Prepare yourself. Don't just go
Show
there.
up.
Yeah, don't just show up
Which is exactly what I did.
unless you're a millionaire.
Yeah. Then you can just show
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
Then
then
you're
you-
fine.
yeah.
Okay. Last one. What is your favorite quote, poem, or lyric? Something that you remember. Like it could be like any like short statement type thing. Anything you remember by heart. No, don't cheat. She's reading my wall.
Okay, favorite quote. I'm so bad at these. I'm not the kind of person who has like something on my fridge door, like to remind me every day.
I'm exactly that kind of person. As you can see, I have they're all over my walls.
Yeah, you have to. I definitely have to get into that.
You don't. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing.
But maybe I should have something like every morning,
It
not
could
to hear
also
this
be-
inner voice.
I mean, it could also be something that you say to yourself on a bad day to cheer yourself. It doesn't have to come from anybody else.
There must be something. Just nothing comes to mind. Oh, let me think. Nam-myoho-renge-kyo, Nam-myoho-renge-kyo, Nam-myoho-renge-kyo. It's this Buddhist mantra.
I certainly do not know, but that sounds amazing.
You check it out.
What does it mean?
I think it means like from the ground, from the seed comes the plant or something like that.
Oh.
Check it out. It's Tina Turner. She did that.
She did that as in, is it a song or?
No, it's a Buddhist, because she became Buddhist at some point because she had such a terrible life, like, with the violent husband and everything. So that's where she kind of found her strength. So that's kind of like it's not in my life in that sense, but
it sounds like a grounding exercise.
And it's something like, you can find your inner power in everything. I need to check the actual translation, but I think it's something like from the ground, from the seeds comes a strong plant or something.
Okay,
So it's
I love that.
So if you need like you're afraid of something, like getting on stage or whatever, it makes you nervous, then that's where you kind of find your roots kind of. Yeah.
But I mean, that is such a Nordic idea.
It's Nam-myoho-renge-kyo. We can check that.
That sounds
can
beautiful.
Google it.
We will put the actual code and the translation in the show notes, so everyone can find it and fact check it for themselves.
Sure.
That's perfectly fine. Last thing, Eeppi, please tell me, when does your album come out? Do you have a date? Do you have a month at least, I think?
Yes, there's one single is coming out before the full album. The single will come out in April. Actually, I have not decided the date, which I have to do.
Hey everyone, it's Petra here with a little update from the present day. Back when we were recording this episode, Eeppi didn't yet have the date for her single release. However, by the time you're hearing this, she sure does. Eeppi Ursin's new album, My Finnish Soul Volume 2, will be released on all music platforms on May 15th, 2026, with a single, New Yorkista Puumalaan, from New York to Puumala, releasing on April 24th. I hope you get a chance to check them out. Eeppi's new single coming out in April. Please
and
follow all of our channels and you will hear the
and
updates.
The full album will come out in May.
Wonderful. So looking forward to that. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, for being my first podcast guinea pig. I think we did okay, but I mean, they will let us know, the listeners. Thank you. And thank you for just your whole involvement in Nordic artists for the past 2 years. It's been really wonderful to feel like I'm not alone doing this, like you're just always there. And so that has meant a lot to me.
It's been an honor. Thank you, Petra.
Thank you. Kiitos, tack, aita, paldies, and achu for listening to the True North podcast by Nordic Artists of New York. If you enjoyed our conversation today, please make sure to follow us on Spotify and Apple Music and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you won't miss the next episode. In the meantime, you can follow our community on Instagram and Facebook at Nordic Artists of New York and learn more about our grassroots mission and our incredible roster of artists at nordicartistsofnewyork.com, where you can also sign up for our monthly newsletter of Nordic and Baltic art events in New York. This podcast is produced by me, Petra Jasmina, with the amazing Kristi Rosma, and supported by Finlandia Foundation National and Petrified Productions. The theme music is by the wonderful Finnish singer-songwriter and composer Eeppi Ursin. You can hear more of her music via eeppiursin.com or on your favorite streaming platform. Thank you for being with us on this journey to True North. See you next time!